Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today. I do truly appreciate it. And I'm here today to pull the wool away from your eyes. Not to pull the wool over your eyes, to pull the wool away from your eyes. I've got a book in the mail today and I'm excited to show it to you. It's from one of my absolute favorite authors, Walk in God's Green Earth. That's Joe Lansdale. And from one of my absolute favorite publishers, and that is SST, Short Scary Tales. They don't only do horror anymore, but that's what SST stood for. Short Scary Tales, a publisher out of the United Kingdom that I truly love. One of my absolute favorite publishers that ever existed. One of my, I easily say top 3, easily. And it'd be top 1 depending on how you rate publishers. And when I rate a publisher based on what you get for your money, and I'm talking about a book here. I'm going to show you a book that I paid $70 for. That's buying the book and getting it shipped from the United Kingdom to Central Florida. $70 for this book. Nobody gives you anything close to this kind of stuff for that kind of money. So if I'm going to rate publishers based on certain criteria, it'd be what you get for the money at that price. Nobody does it better. But I'm going to take the wool away because this is an unboxing video. I've already opened up the box. I've already taken one book out. That was a Grady Hendrix book. I got that video floating around out there in the interwebs somewhere. Jump out and grab it. Put it in your phone. Jam it in there. Watch it. Or smash it into your TV in the VCR slot. Shove it in there. Push play. And you can watch that one too. But this one is live and in living color on your video scope here today. See, I'm taking it out of the box, but SST ships in books in great big boxes full of stuffing and fluffing and all that stuff to make sure that when I get them in the mail, they are tip of the top, cream of the crop, quality condition, because I don't like my stuff busted up. And then beyond that, it's in this padded envelope. It's enveloped in this padded envelope and fully equipped with a bookmark here. Short Scary Tales. Every book that I've read in at least the last 3 years, I read with an SST bookmark. That's a fact, Jack. And then the other thing that I do truly love and appreciate from SST is this, the handwritten note. And I've got so many of these because I've got so many SST books. But it's written by Paul Fry, the owner of SST. Hi, Tim. Thank you so much for your order. Take care. Paul, thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. You take care too, buddy. Take care. Keep making these excellent books, and I'll keep buying them. But the book here, wrapped in this tissue paper, SST stickers, and that's what I've come to expect from you, from SST. So you've seen book unboxings. If you haven't, then go back and watch them. There's plenty of them that I've created and uploaded out in the cyberspace for you, floating around. But you come to expect a lot of the stuff from SST. And so it's an exciting day for me because I love the publisher, but I also love the author, Joe Lansdale. I mean, you can't see them all here, but this is all, what is that, 3, 4? That's all Joe Lansdale books. What you can't see down there is 2 more shelves below, or 1 more shelf below. I don't want to lie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves. It's all Joe Lansdale stuff. Plus, I've got anthologies with all kinds of anthologies. It's got Joe Lansdale stories therein. So, big collector. I guess you could say I like the author. And SST publishing his books is exciting for me because they do such great work. And you can just see here this stunning dust jacket artwork on the cover. It looks so good. So nice. I've got you anyway. Man, it's going to look good on the shelf. I'm excited about this one. Just check it out. And Donut Legion is one of Joe Lansdale's newest novels. I read the most recent Lansdale novel I've read is Moon Lake. And I really loved that one. I did a book review on that one. You can look it up. It's on here somewhere. I haven't read the Donut Legion yet, but it is on queue. It's in the queue to be read. First, I want to take this dust jacket off, stretch it out, and show it to you so you can see why I am such a fan. Just look at that, stretched out. That's something you hang on the wall. We've got artwork. We've got pictures on the wall throughout our house. None of them look this cool. My wife is an interior decorator, not like me though. I'd be hanging stuff like this up on the walls instead of what she's got hung up on the walls now. But amazing dust jacket artwork. And it is from Dirk Berger. I've shown you quite a few books illustrated by Dirk Berger from SST. Joe Lansdale books even. But this one may be my favorite. There's just so much here. I got to show you again. So much here. That's a story in and of itself. You can spend a while analyzing that dust jacket artwork. There's a story there, and that's what I like. I like artwork that makes me feel something, makes me wish I was there. It makes me want to look further and see what there is. So he checked some of those boxes for me. And then here's the other great thing about the publisher. This book just looks so good without it. So you got hot foil stamping, 2 colors on the front and on the spine. Cloth bound, cloth covered boards, and then that Smith sewn quality binding that we expect from SST publications. And it just looks so good. Not only is it quality, but look at it. It's bound well, bound right. And this book, like I said, $70, including shipping from England to Florida. So for the money, you're not going to get anywhere near this. You buy a book for $70 from anybody else, it doesn't even compare. It will not be anything near this good. And then our colored end papers. I want to show you the signature page with the Dirk Berger artwork. Mine is number 401 out of 500 copies, which I'm on the 401 train for Joe Lansdale from SST. Well, I keep buying from them. I keep on getting the number 401s, which is cool. It's nice when your stuff matches in some way, but check out that signature page, the Dirk Berger artwork, the Dirk Berger signature, and then the Joe Lansdale signature. One thing you got to know, if you collect signed books from Joe Lansdale, they're not going to look the same. That guy don't ever sign the same way twice. I've got probably 50 different versions of a Joe Lansdale signature in my collection. They look different. They might find some similarities from one to the next, but you're going to find some that will not resemble that in any way, shape, or form. So many different variations. So if you're worried about forgeries and you're worried about showing somebody the signature and saying, is this real? Forget about it. There ain't no way to tell. I don't want to be telling secrets, but it's hard to tell because it varies so much. So buying these limited edition books, you get a little bit more comfort if you're worried about forgeries and stuff like that. But on top of that, Joe Lansdale signs a bunch of books for a lot of different people. Booksellers, stores, publishers, and stuff like that. So finding books signed by him is not that difficult. Sometimes you got to pay for them. A lot of them. Sometimes you can get them relatively cheap. But anyway, there's some more on the Joe Lansdale stuff. And if you haven't read Joe Lansdale, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan, but I'm going to warn you up front. He's not a straight down the middle type of a writer. He's not. There's a style to Joe Lansdale. It's like none other. It's not even comparable to other people, so it's hard to even describe. But he's going to write stuff that's going to be silly, that's going to be serious, that's going to be all points in between. But every one of them, when you read, it won't take you that long to figure out, this is Joe Lansdale that I'm reading, if the cover didn't already spoil it for you. A style all of his own. He puts a little bit of humor in everything. Sometimes it's strong. Sometimes it's slight. But it's all there. It's all the way. It's all his language. It's his writing. It's his words in the book. And I say that because he talks different than most people do. He talks different and he writes different. So what I would say is this. If you've never read a Joe Lansdale book, or even if you have, first go on YouTube, mash them buttons, find some interviews with Joe Lansdale. Listen to him talk. Listen to him for a while. And then go read his books. And now you can read his books in his voice And it makes so much more sense why he writes the way he does, because he talks the way he talks. A natural storyteller. A storyteller way down deep in his soul and his bones. And so he can write like, blam, just throwing it out there. And it's good stories and good stuff. But I don't know if that helps or hurts or what. But I'll show you some of this Dirk Berger artwork from the Donut Legion here. And I've liked everything I've gotten in terms of Dirk Berger's artwork. I don't know how many interior illustrations there are in here. But typically with SST, we typically get 6. About 6. I don't want to guarantee it. But I'm looking through here to see what I can find. This one here I haven't shown you yet. So, stories. One thing about Joe Lansdale books is they'll usually involve some fighting. Joe Lansdale is a guy that's relatively well known when people talk about him. He's been a martial artist for years and years. Hapkido! Look it up. Hapkido. It's not the same as Aikido. Although, if you watch it, there's some similarities into how it looks and how it flows. And I'm not going to pretend to be a Hapkido expert, but Joe is. That's what they say. That's what he says anyway. But there's usually some fighting involved in Joe Lansdale books, which I dig. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, there used to be a TV network out there. I don't remember what it was called. But they used to brag about movies for guys that like movies. And while Joe is not just writing for the guys, he writes a lot of books for guys that like to read books. So there's a lot of that stuff in there. Fists a-flying. He's not afraid of the bad words either. So if you got sensitive ears, be careful. And he's also not afraid of the violence, of the death. But his books are a lot of fun. I've never read a Joe Lansdale book that I didn't like a lot. And so, what are my favorites? I haven't read them all. I haven't read anywhere near them all. This is a guy that usually pumps out at least 3 books a year. Lots of stories in between. But of the books of Lansdale's that I've read, I gotta say that, like a lot of people, The Bottoms is probably my favorite. And here's a fold-out. Look at there. A fold-out in the back. If I knew that, I didn't recall. Well, there you go. Color illustration. And a fold-out. Looks good. Man, I like this book. I'm glad. I mean, I like what they've done with this book. Can't wait to read it. I've got to read it. I've got a trade edition right over here. It's a signed one. You can't see it. Right here is a trade edition. I'm going to read that book there. I typically don't read the limited edition books just because I'm afraid of, you're going to mess it up. So I'm reading the whole thing worried, being scared, worried about messing it up. And I like to be a little bit more relaxed and enjoy with the words when I'm reading. So I got to get to this one. I can't wait to read it. But I was saying The Bottoms is the favorite of them that I've read. Also Paradise Sky. That was fabulous, phenomenal book. And then I would also have to say probably The Thicket. I think I'd say in that order. The Bottoms, Paradise Sky, and then The Thicket are my favorites. And for me, Moon Lake was way up there too, so it might be 4th. But I've read also a lot of the Hap and Leonard books. Probably is well known because this is a series that he's done. A lot of books in that series. They made a TV show, 3 seasons of it. It was very good too. Really dug that show. But it was based on... That series was based on his first 3 Hap and Leonard books, Savage Season, Mucho Mojo, and then the Two Bear Mambo. They followed him somewhat. Not exact, but they followed him. Some of the stuff has moved around within the series, but they were really good. If they made 15 seasons, I'd watch all 15. But they made 3. Phenomenal. And the Hap and Leonard books are all good. They start off, Savage Season is more serious, straight kind of book, straight down the middle, I want to say, not straight, but more of a straightforward book. You get Lansdale's humor, you get the violence, you get the action, you get the drama. And I think as they went, he started putting a little bit more fun into them, making them more fun books. It's still violent, people are still dying, it's still some very, very serious material in there, sometimes disturbing material in there. But he writes Hap and Leonard in a fun way, where he can tell you about this disturbing stuff, and it just almost sounds funny how he can do that. But anyway, great series there too. That's a lot of stuff about Joe Lansdale, and I don't know jack. But I do know that I got a cool book on my shelf that I can't wait to read now, and that is The Donut Legion. And with that being said, I can think of no more lies to tell, so thank you for your time. I do truly appreciate it. C'est la vie, baby. Doo-doo.